In this video, we're taking a look at the INFP paths to growth. This will be for both the FiNe INFP, the standard INFP, and also the jumper type, the FiSi INFP. Okay, so there's several ways you can experience growth when it comes to your personality. And the quickest way to experience growth, and a lot of times this is also a way where you will have maybe the most problems right away, is to just overuse your fourth function. So for the INFP, what they're going to be doing is reaching down into their TE, which means doing things for the tribe, overworking that TE muscle, that fourth function. And so maybe an INFP just decides to spend several days just going about doing things for people, asking their opinion, getting feedback into decision making, those kind of things. And so if an INFP did that, they would come across certainly with a very heavy TE, but after a while they would realize that they're coming across as needy, and people will start to get annoyed with that, and they will probably start to get annoyed with that as well. So it's good to do on a short-term type of growth just to see what it's like to use your TE, but long-term it's probably not the most healthy approach. All right, the second path to growth is one of my favorite types of the three, and that is thinking like your opposite. And so for the INFP, you would think that would be thinking like the ESTJ, but that's not what I'm talking about, because if you did that, you'd still have people and tribe issues. So you want to get out of that mindset. You want to get into more of a way that an observer, a single observer, would think about things. And so for the INFP, it would be to think like maybe an ISTJ. And for the FiSi, it would be to think like an ENFP, the NETE type. It would try to get your mind into thinking like an observer. What would this type do in this position? They wouldn't be paralyzed with people tribe issues. They would be more going into this situation or doing this or doing that. And so I find for myself thinking like an observer helps me get out of those decider kind of loops in your head. And if you just work on your fourth function, you're still dealing with decider issues. And so this helps you get out of your head and into more of an observer way of thinking. All right, the final path is to achieve an alpha state. And what this means is you are combining, if you will, your primary function, your Fi, versus your fourth function, your Te. So your two deciding functions are coming together. And because your first function is Fi, when you combine them, then you will get Ti, because that Fi is still running the show. And so you will go from Fi to Ti. So you're still making the decisions that affect you. You're still self over tribe, and you're good at doing that kind of thing. But now you're not just going with your feelings, you're going with what makes sense. You're going with what works. And so an INFP who has reached an alpha state is using their Ti, and they're making more logical decisions, more what works, less just going with their feelings and their values. And so when an INFP is making decisions with their Ti, then they are in what many people call an alpha state, and that is another good way to grow. Depending on where you are in your journey, each of these paths might be beneficial at certain times. They all have different risks. They all have different values and payoffs and benefits. So you can look at these types of paths as you're trying to grow and just try to see which one works for you in your current situation.